before we introduce the concept of a collar and lead for a puppy, we're putting him through his heel work paces just to refresh him. With the weather being very hot this summer, we haven't done a lot of training in the last couple of weeks, but just to go through something very simple that he can do and he understands before we put the collar on, and then finally the lead. This is the very first time Lachlan would have been introduced to a collar, so I'm just going to settle him down, something very simple, introduce him to the smell, let him have a good look at it, and just positively reward him so he doesn't see any strangeness or fear in this collar that he's going to have put on him for the first time.
I'll pop this on. Good boy. Good. Good boy.
As you can see, I'm just giving him rewards now with his food to say there's nothing to worry about now that he's actually moving with the collar on. So throwing a few treats around, or a few bits of his food around to get him moving with the feel of this collar. It's on quite loose. I haven't put it on too tight because I don't want him to have a restricted feeling. I want him to actually think that it's just literally sat there on his neck and it's no big deal. So I'm just working him through his paces, just throwing some food around, getting him moving with the collar on now so he can get the feel of it.
Ready? Good. Ready? Good. Good. Good boy.
Next step is to take him through his paces of something he really enjoys, which is stopping on the whistle for his parrot, just to chase after it, dive in and get it. Again, the idea is just to get him moving with that collar on. You'll see from time to time also touching it so that he feels me touching the collar, but again, it shouldn't cause him any alarm or concern. I have to say Lachlan is quite a robust puppy. His breeder did an amazing job before I had him, really getting him conditioned to different little stressors, and so he does take most things in his stride. Genuinely, this is the first time he's ever had collar on, and it just hasn't phased him at all.
Good. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good.
Now we go back to seated exercise, where I'm now starting to put a little bit of contact on that collar. So you'll just see I've got a handful of food and I'm touching the collar. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on it just so he feels it, feels me contact him with the collar. The idea is that obviously his collar's just there as a safety net. I'm not trying to control him with it as such, because we want him to walk to heel comfortably and confidently, and I shouldn't need to have a reflex from him that he pulls against the lead when he finally goes on to a slip lead. So I'm just teaching him that as I gently pull the collar one way, he's literally following my hand with food, but my hand is guiding him on the collar towards the direction where I'm taking the food as well. If you just see, that is what I'm trying to do. Is there's a little bit of contact. So this is really a safety aspect. You see people from time to time dive and try and grab their dogs. There's a car coming or something's unexpected that they haven't seen, and they try and take the dog on the collar, and the dog literally puts the brakes on and digs their heels in. This reflex action, which is in their DNA, to avoid capture as such. So I'm just getting him used to being led as such by the collar, but it should be seen from the treats and following me is a positive thing. So it's just getting him used to that little bit of contact. I'm not pulling hard, I'm not giving him adverse pressure on it. As you can see, it's quite loose, it's moving around. Just getting him used to that feeling.
Good boy. Oh, very clever. Ross.
Good. Now I'm going to put the lead on. I'm just clicking the catch so he hears that sound again, just to cover off that he's not worried about the sound at all. And here we're back into our space where we're going to do a little bit of heel work so the collar goes back on. Just again, a positive reinforcement to say well done, sitting there nicely while he has his collar and that clip now attached to the ring. So I use a collar and lead that I call static. I don't want to use a slip lead at this time because I don't want to have the opportunity of that collar creating a lot of pressure on his neck, which a slip lead could do if he suddenly pulled away. So the idea is that yes, there could be a little bit of pressure, but it's not going to tighten and restrict or cause any discomfort on him as such, because we've just been going through conditioning him to feel the pressure, but it doesn't constrict or restrict him at all, which a slip lead obviously is designed to do. So it's not too much pressure, and that's why I always opt for a very simple collar and lead when I'm training the heel work. The lead I'm using is very long and it's quite light because again I don't want too much weight on that collar to start with, as this is his first session ever. So I do have to gather it up a little bit, as it's a little bit like a washing line, which is ideal because there's no association with walking to heel with any contact of pulling. So it is long, and I do have to gather it a bit, but actually feeling a little bit of that weight and that lead swinging back and forth is not a bad thing for him to get used to as well. When he goes onto a slip lead eventually, when he's fully trained, he will have a much shorter lead. But again, it's desensitizing him to anything that potentially could spook him, such as a flapping lead. And then we're finished.